How are you? Can you hear me? Hi. Welcome. Can you guys hear me? Just fine. How are you guys doing? Welcome. Thank you for being here. Today I have a very powerful message for you guys, and I hope that, this blows your mind a little bit. But I would like to know, how are you guys feeling before I dive into this? How are you guys feeling? What are you guys up to today? What are some of your plans, Just going with the flow, right? Cool. So today I want to talk about, some tips about how to deal with the human psyche. How to control your own mind and why you should be in control of your own mind. So if that interests you in any way, form or fashion, hey, stay tuned throughout the rest of this live, because we'll be diving deep into that today, and we'll be taking the time to maneuver into the realms, the hidden truths of our own psyche, and into the realms of exposing and diving into the parts of ourselves that most don't want to. So I'll start that off as soon as I get that go ahead from you guys. How do you guys feel? What's up? Okay. So let's go, right? So I made a message yesterday about the devil being a belief system created based on our perception, based on our fear of the devil, because of our lack of accountability. And I would need to add to that message, because there's a lot to say on that topic than I have said. It's not as simple as I really broke it down to be. So another thing too, I'd like to share a little bit of what I was going through, in that little time period where basically I wanted to, give up on this YouTube channel. I wanted to, kind of stop, because it was becoming very, it's like, what's the point? But then I said to myself, when you start something, finish it. Yes, my friend, Jesus is your freedom. Love Jesus. Tell Jesus you love him every day, and pray to Jesus every single day. I love Jesus too. Jesus is definitely freedom for you. So in that being said, I had was to take that time to sit with myself and say to myself, when you start something, you better finish it. Don't just allow yourself to fall out of that rhythm, out of that consistency of doing what it is that you have set out to do, of doing what it is that your heart is pushing you towards. Don't just allow yourself to just fall and crumble, because in this mindset I said to myself, if I fall now, then all of the hard work that I have already put in will just go to waste. So I've realized not to let my hard work and efforts, all of the energy that I've already put in, go to waste, because at the end of it all, well, I would be the one looking back and having regrets thereafter for why it is that I stopped. So this would have been my devilish nature. I would have blamed the external world or the external things, because part of what was making me feel not to continue was the fact that I have been dealing with a lot of narcissism on my channel, in my life also. So within me allowing that egoic, devilish nature to rule my mind, it kind of led me to thinking that I should stop. It kind of led me to feeling like I should give up, but I chose not to, because I realized that that was my egoic nature. I realized that that was my fearful nature kicking in there, telling me to doubt my capabilities, telling me to focus on the 1% of the negative, whereas I have the choice to focus on the 99% of positive that's already working in my favor and already happening for me in my life. So I could have chosen to allow that devilish nature to rule and lead me down that path of fear and neglect myself and not do what it is that I love to do. But in me visioning that future, looking back to this moment, I know that my future self would be like, bro, you should not have stopped. You should not have given up. You should have continued pushing forward. You should have continued being strong, staying steadfast, staying focused. You should have continued and not stopped and chicken out or puss out like a little bitch. So this now influenced me to say to myself, don't let that part of your mind rule you. Don't let that part of you take control of you. So this is where now I said to myself, okay, since that's the thought patterns, that's the thought process that I was going through at that point of time, that was that point of time. I have this present moment now to continue moving forward brand new, instead of giving up and allowing the egoic nature to hold me down. And that egoic nature, that devilish nature, is just simply the nature of fear, the nature of material also, the nature of doubts, all of that lies there. So I said to myself, get up and keep going. Finish what you have started. Make sure that you are continuously doing what it is that is best for you. And don't stop. So as much as I had given up at that point of time, in that present moment, I slept it off and I refused, and I woke up ready to go again. So now I'm back at it again. Now I'm refocusing. Now I'm reconnecting again and moving forward yet again. So it's like I said also in this title, how do you know when to stay and how do you know when to go? So for example, when I look back at the amount of messages that I've made, these messages has helped me to stay consistent. These messages has helped me to stay focused. These messages has helped me to embody my highest version. So I said to myself, if it's something that's benefiting me, why should I let it go? If it's something that's helping me grow, why should I let it go? So this is where now I made the decision to say to myself, don't let it go because it's helping you grow. I made the decision to say to myself, no, I have the choice to be right here, right now, doing this day in, day out, because it's helping me grow, it's helping me to stay focused, it's helping me to stay in tune, and I'm also getting to help others at the same time. For those who are helped by these messages, for those who are inspired, for those who learn something new, I'm getting to share myself, share my world, share my views, to help someone else, to cultivate a reality of freedom within themselves. I'm getting to do that, so why should I stop doing it? And this is how I overcome that fear of thinking that I should let it go because it may not work out or things may not happen. Now I see it like this: don't give up on your vision. No matter what may happen, don't give up on your vision. So this is where you can be someone in a relationship, and that relationship can be very challenging at times. But let's say both parties have a vision of each other, being there for each other, with each other for a long period of time, then this is a perfect indication that you can choose to stay in that relationship, because that being is visioning you in their future, that as you are also visioning them in your future. So now both parties are willing to work together to grow with each other and to create that future together, whereas it's not energy draining on the other, but more freeing for each other, because both parties are sharing with each other, both parties are being there for each other. So how to know also when to let go of someone or something, to see if it's becoming energy draining or energy depleting, then this is an indicator to let go of it, because sometimes you may be in relationships with beings or people out there and they are only thinking about themselves. They are only about them, to the point where they don't care about you, they don't care about how you feel, as long as they get what it is that they want, as long as they receive the best and they're happy, they can care less about what's going on with you. So this is how you know also when you are not in a relationship and when you are in a slave manship. This is how you know when you are a slave in a relationship and not an actual relationship, because relationships like that are built on just the physical and material aspects, material things. For example, relationships like that are built on business transactions, whereas they only look at you for what it is. No, not look at you, they are only with you for what it is that they can get from you. Relationships like that, they don't give out of genuine kindness from their heart, they don't give out of genuine love for that being, they give out of to give to get, and they also stay there, look there, because of what they know they can get from you. So in relationships like that, this is where someone is always on the shittier end of the stick, where they are always being drained, always being taken for granted, because in that relationship it's ego based, it's control based, it's force based, it's toxic for individuals in so much different ways. So this is where, in being in relationships where you're with someone who is only about the material, and they give me, when they don't get what they want from you, they are angry with you, they are mad at you, they blame you, they guilt trip you, they gaslight you, they do all kind of things to make you feel bad because they did not get what they want, because they are like child, that they're like babies, they're like a child that needs to get what it is they want by any means necessary. relationships like that also are built on competition. When it is that they see their partner doing good, they don't like their partner for that, because they think that they should always be better. They think that they should always be higher than. Whereas in a beautiful relationship, in a more flowing relationship, your partner will be grateful and happy for your success, happy for your growth, because your partner understands that when you grow, I grow. When you grow, we grow, because we are together. We are in this together. So your partner will be, supportive of your growth and not, hating on your growth just because they want to be validated or feel like, they are higher than you or better than you because of their status quo. They won't look at it that way, because the relationship is not built on the material one. You see, true relationships, true connections are built based on, soul connections. Whereas when it is that you are really and truly in a relationship with a being, it doesn't matter what it is that this person looks like. It doesn't matter what it is that this person has. Now, mind you be, all of the external material things are good to have. I'm not saying that, having things is not a plus, it's not a bonus in a relationship. It is definitely a bonus. But when it comes to a soul connection, a truthful connection based on loving an individual, it's really and truly unconditional love of that individual. For example, you don't love your dog because your dog brings you money. You don't love your pet because your pet does things for you. No, you love that animal, you love that pet because that pet brings you comfort. You love that animal, you love that pet because that pet shows you affection. You love that animal for who that animal is, for what that animal is. You love that animal for the animal, not for what the animal can give. That's unconditional love. That's unconditional, pure acceptance of a being. This is where true love is found. This is why true love is found when people love their animals. It's seen in how they love their animals. It's seen in how they love their pets. That's a perfect demonstration of what love is. Or let's talk about a baby. So a baby that has been born into this world, that a mother may have brought into this world, a child cannot give her anything in return aside from the love that that child can give, aside from those little laughters, those little giggles, those little times that that parent will hear that child laugh too and giggle too, because just the mere fact of having that moment with that child, just the mere fact of being there with that child, it gives you that warmth, it gives you that feeling of love, of joy. And that child has not even brought any type of physical money to you, any type of physical material stuff to you in any way, form or fashion, but you still love that child. That's love. That's pure love. That's real love. That's true love. That's authentic love. That's love that not much people out there have within themselves. That's love beyond measure. That's love that cannot be broken. That's love and trust that cannot be wavered. So this is what a real relationship is built based on. This is what a real relationship comes with. Real love, not material love, not materialistic, egotistical love, which a lot of society is in today. So how to know when you are in a relationship like that, and how to know how to flip that script. Make sure that within yourself, when it is you look at your partner, you are able to see through the physical appearance of them. Like, look your partner dead in their eyes and tell me, do you see their soul? Do you see them for who they are? Or do you see them for what it is you want them to be? Do you see them for what it is that you imagine them to be? Or do you see them for who they are? That's the power of being in a real relationship. A real relationship, you get to see true and true, true and true. You get to be who you are also too. You don't have to hold back on anything. You don't have to, be anything that you are not for that being to like you or appreciate you or accept you, because in that relationship you are accepted. In that relationship you accept the partner, the person that you are interacting with. In that relationship you are with them for them, not for what it is you want them to be, not for who they want you to be. No, they're with you for you. So now this creates a freedom in that relationship that is so freeing to both individuals that you never really and truly want to give up on a relationship like that. You won't, because you feel good within that relationship. You don't feel like it's a trap. You don't feel like it's a prison. You don't feel like you're being drained. You don't feel like you need to be something or be somewhere else, because you find that peace also in the relationship. It's peace in that relationship flow. That's how you also know, when you can stay or when you should go. But you see, if it is that you find yourself thinking in ways like this, okay, I need to change this being into this, I need to change them into that, I need them to change this, need them to do these type of different things, just to please me, just to make me feel good, just to make me feel comfortable, then that's an indication that you don't like that person for who they are. That's an indication that you don't like that being for who they are. So this is where now you'd have to say to yourself, hey, I'll need to, let them go. This is how you know. But if you can really and truly still look at that being and say, well, okay, I accept her for all of the flaws that she has. I accept him for all of the flaws that he has. I accept that being for who they are, because when I look at myself, what are some of the things that he has to accept within me that he is choosing to accept for me, to be there for me? What are some of the things that he is choosing to? Because sometimes we overlook the fact that we ourselves are not perfect. Sometimes we overlook the fact that we ourselves have things within us that is not the best, and we only cast judgment on the outside entity, the person that we are in a relationship with, and then forget, wait a minute, we should also be taking accountability for ourselves. We should also be checking ourselves to see, well, wait a minute, what are some of the traits within ourselves that someone may have to accept that may not be the best. So for example, like me, a negative trait within me, when it is that I know that I'm not being the best, I shut down. So for example, one of my negative traits, sometimes I go blank. When I'm talking about blank, I mean like I just shut down. I just go into that doke mode for a brief moment in time, because sometimes it's overwhelming for me in certain instances, in certain situations. Sometimes I just shut off. I just close off. And that's something that I know is a negative trait within me. So this is something that I'm working on. This is something that I'm dealing with day in, day out, because I've been pushed into so much situations that I have always had was cook up myself and be there for myself, to be that strength for myself, to be that spinal cord for myself, to be the backup for myself, because I never really had backup in my life. So I am now my backup. So at times when I feel like things are becoming stressful at times, sometimes I close off. But even after I close off, I always say to myself, wait a minute, you're in this not for yourself but for we. You're in this not by yourself, so you need to also be able to be open, especially if you're in a relationship with someone else. So when I move into that close off state, I'm not going to stay there for long, because I know this is an error, this is a negative within me. So I'll now open up and say to myself, okay, let me be vulnerable and let me be free to actually say and speak my mind freely. Let me actually vent it out and release it, rather than cooking it up and keeping it within myself, closing off, neglecting the connection that can be built within that shaky or tough situation, instead of closing off and shutting them off and just letting go and then just walking away. No, I'll voice it now. I may take some time to think about it. I may take some time still to be with me, to settle my nerves, clear my mind a little bit also, because I don't want the anger or the rage to whatever the situation, whatever it is that I'm feeling internally, to come off in that aggressive way, in that manner where I'm just blaming or pointing fingers. I would want clarity. So this is also a mechanism that I go through, which is I find also is kind of necessary too, but not to stay there forever and not say anything and then just let things go, and then somewhere down the line it happens again. So this is something that I am cultivating within myself to always be in that mindset where I am regulating myself, making sure that I'm coming from a place of clarity, making sure that I'm coming from a place of seeing the bigger picture. And the bigger picture oftentimes is, how can we build a better connection here? Because in those moments, in those times, this is where the true connection also builds even deeply, deeper than it was before. In those times, this is where you can actually evolve into something even stronger than it once was, because now that being is getting to know a deeper side of you. You are getting to work through that scenario, that situation. You're getting to build that foundation, so in the future, if something else is to happen, like you'll already have like a foundation like that to stand on, and the foundation just keeps building stronger and stronger and stronger. So this is where the negative aspects in a relationship, or the tough times within a relationship, this is where it can actually bloom into something beautiful, because through those depths, through those situations, through those little hurdles and obstacles, trials and tribulations, both parties are getting an opportunity to grow in love, deeper love, connection to each other. Like, for example, right, let's use the analogy of your dog again. Your dog may rip up your shoes, right? Some people may beat that animal for ripping up their shoes. Some people may take out their anger on the animal for ripping up their shoes, right? Some people who are in that egoic structure, that egoic mind, they will choose to beat, they will choose to force, to try to beat it out of the animal, whereas they don't put themselves into the animal's perspective to understand that the animal just is simply not trained. The animal isn't trained to be what it is that you want the animal to be, or behave the way that you want the animal to behave. You never took the time to teach the animal or explain things to the animal, why not to do this or stuff like that. So now the animal teared your shoes up and now you beat the animal. But does that mean that you don't love the animal anymore? No, you still love the animal. You still have affection for the animal, and that animal still has affection and love for you even after you beat the animal. That's unconditional love that animal shows us on a daily. You can leave home and then come back home after doing that animal what it is that you've done to that animal, and that animal will still show you love. That being said though, this is where also in a relationship, it's like a training ground. It's like a training ground for both parties to learn each other. Because basically, moving into someone else's world, building a connection with someone, you are actually learning that being. You are actually learning their ways. You are actually learning their mind. You are actually learning their patterns. And this is where you guys have to, train with each other. Train in that relationship to build together. Relationships are like an exercise. This is why a relationship is a lot of mental work. But a lot of people are in relationships but don't want to do the mental work. So it's like, why are they in a relationship in that way? This is what a relationship is about. It's about training and learning and understanding your partner. So example, you need to train and learn and understand that dog, that animal, because when you learn the patterns of a dog and an animal, to know, what makes them tick, what makes them click, what cycles are they going through, you would also know what are the mood swings that your Dog goes through, an animal goes through mood swings too. So for example, right, if you leave your pet home whole day with no company, no one there to, give it any type of, affection, and it's just there all alone at times, it can get bored. So hence, it will tear your shoes up. Whereas if you are constantly finding time also to, take that dog for regular walks, if you are constantly taking time to be there and show that dog some love and affection, that dog's behavioral pattern will change big time, because guess what? You have been taking time in that relationship with the animal, building a relationship with your animal in that way. So your animal will also vibe in a way that it is building that connection to you, where it's imprinting to you, where it will actually adjust to your frequency. So, for example, what do I mean by adjust to your frequency? Like, show me your pets, I show you who you are. Show me your kids, I show you who you are. Because the truth is, animals adjust based on their owner. So, let's say if their owner is aggressive, very aggressive, that animal will be an aggressive animal. If their owner is calm, cool, tranquilo, peaceful, the animal will adjust to that. If their owner is fearful, afraid of everything, that animal will be afraid of everything. Animals adjust to their owner, and vice versa with children. Vice versa also, this happens in relationships also. Frequencies, have you ever heard the saying, whoever it is that you hang around, you become? So this is where if you're in a relationship with someone, know that you're becoming similar to them, because it's a relationship. That is the person that you're spending most of your time with. That is the person that you are there with most of the time. So you are now becoming like that being, regardless whether you like it or not, whether it is you believe that or not, or vice versa. They are also taking up some of your traits. So sometimes some of the things that your partner may do may be some of the things that are in you, and they may not even know that they have picked that up from you, but yet still they do it. Or let's say even in terms of your speech, like for example, you can be someone that texts like this: yo, what's up? Your partner may have been someone that texts like this: hi, how are you? Over time, going down that relationship, you find yourself actually texting, hi, how are you? Because that was something that you picked up from your partner, and unconsciously you just did it. Because this is, yet again, who you hang around, you become like. So this is where, in selecting a partner too, in being in a relationship with someone that you really and truly want to be with, is it someone that you see yourself turning into? Is it someone that you see yourself becoming in the long run? Or is it not meshing? Or is the visions or views of that future not aligning? This is also how you know, hey, if it's something that's for you and if it's something that's not meant for you. You see, if it is that the views are not aligning to a similar view of what it is that you want for you, then you should not stay there. You should not be there, because it's two completely different views. It's two completely different roads, two completely different choices, two completely different directions, and it won't work out if you're moving in separate directions. It really won't. Both parties need to be moving in a similar direction. So for example, for me, right, reason why I'm also alone in this time of my life is because I'm on self-growth. I am on spiritual growth. Spiritual growth is a very deep process. It requires a lot of mental work. It requires a lot of physical work. It requires a lot of inner work. So this is a deep connection. This is something that is deep, very deep. So in building with someone and being in a relationship with someone, for me, you know, we need to have a similar mindset in terms of our growth, in terms of, where we are headed, so that we can flow better, so that we can, grow together, so that we can be on that mission of self-growth. Whereas if my partner doesn't want to grow and do the work, and I want to grow and do the work, then basically they'll kind of be like holding me back. Because as I'm trying to move forward, let's say, like for me, let's say I don't want to go out there and drink a whole bunch of alcohol just for the fun of it, because I want to take care of my body, and that's all my partner wants to do. So now I'm being kept back because that's all they want to do. And now it's like, because I accept them for who they are, I need to be there and deal with that. It's like, no, I have to let someone like that go, because that's what they choose for themselves. And this is something that I don't choose for myself. And this is something that I can't see, myself being in a position with somebody who is not in their senses, with somebody who is not clicking. I can't be with an individual who is harming themselves in that way, just to get away. Whereas for me, that's not growing, that's running away. That's running away from being present, that's running away from being with me. Like, if we are going to do something, let's do something together. Let's do it in a way that, guess what? We are here. We don't need to be anywhere else under the influence of anything else. Because true relationships are built on true connections, deep connections. So why do some of us think that, we need to get some of those external stuff to be free in a relationship? Is because some people don't accept who they are. Some people also don't believe or trust within themselves. So they think that they need to do these things to express themselves. And that, my friend, is why I say, I don't want someone in a way that they think that they can't be themselves around me, or they need to be under the influence around me to be themselves. Which means, so then when you're sober, does it mean that you're not who you claim to be? Because only when it is you're sober, you're able to be creative. Only when you're sober, not sober, only when you're intoxicated, you're able to be creative. Only when you're intoxicated, you're able to be yourself. So then, who is the being that I'm in a relationship with? The sober being. Is that somebody that is continuously hiding 24/7? Who is that? So this is why I have chosen to be alone until I find people, or find someone who is in that mindset of growth. This is why I do what it is that I do. So I say to you guys right here, right now, for those of you now coming into, how to know when it is that you should hold on to someone, be there in that relationship, is because it's also beneficial for you and that being in a healthy way. That person influences you in becoming better for you. That person will influence you to do the best thing for you, and not influence you into be in your lower nature, in that nature where you always need to keep running and hiding and being afraid of certain things. No, your partner will make you feel free. Your partner will make you feel that comfort, that safe zone of being able to be who you are and express who you are, even if you're not under the influence of an alcoholic beverage. This is the power that comes with an authentic relationship. This is the power that comes with a true relationship. And this is how you know when you can stay and when you can let go. How do they make you feel? Does that mean make you feel when it is that you are around them? Do you find yourself always in a negative thought pattern when you are around them? Do you find yourself always being called names or judged in a way that you are bad when you are around them? Do you find yourself being like that? And if it is that you think of yourself as being bad also while being around them, where is it coming from also? Is it something within yourself that you know you can work on to help you become your better version, to help you to grow and become more empowered, become more in tune? Or is it that you already think that you are your best version right there and then, and the negative thought patterns or the triggers that you may feel in that moment, is it that, wait a minute, is it something that you are in resistance to within you because you know they are telling you the truth, or you know they are telling you what is right and best for you, but because you are in resistance to it and because you don't want to do that work to grow, you choose to give up? That's on you as an individual. These are the choices that you would need to make within yourself, and these are the questions that you would need to ask yourself, because this is what you call self-work, shadow work 101. Asking yourself, the tough questions, asking yourself the real questions, being real with yourself, knowing to yourself, why are you in resistance to something? Where is it coming from? Ask yourself these questions, because it's when I ask myself these questions, I also get to see, wait a minute, damn, that being was just checking for me. Damn, that being just wanted the best for me. Damn, why was I triggered, or why was I defensive? That defensive mechanism comes in most of the time when it is you don't want to let go of a egotistical structure or a limiting belief within yourself. That comes from that. So this is where, when you get defensive, this is a perfect indication to listen and just take time to settle your nerves, take time to relax, take time just to breathe. Just one nice deep breath. Take time just to be for a little bit, so that you can have that clarity, and so that you can have that higher point of view, that higher perspective, that higher spectrum, because now you can get to see the bigger picture. Another example, right? Let's say you're in a relationship with someone and the relationship is going good at first. There is a lot of love in the relationship. There is a lot of flow. Both parties are on the same road, same vision, have that same passion, drive, motivation. But then somewhere down the line, something changes, and that being decides, well, hey, you know what, I this not working out for me anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. This is where you have the choice now to say to yourself, are you going to change with them and flow in that change with them, or are you going to continuously keep growing? Are you going to continuously keep growing? Are you going to now allow them to hold you back on that mission? Are you now going to allow them to stop you from growing, stop you from glowing? Are you now going to allow that, or are you going to double down and keep going with or without them? Because this is a tough decision also that an individual has to make within their lives. When it is that you also you're set on doing something, you want to grow and become better for yourself. Like, if your partner is not willing to keep up and grow with you, you got to leave them behind. If they choose that road some other time down the road, then they choose that, and you guys can realign. But don't stop. Don't put yourself in that position where you need to give up on what it is that you vision for your future, just because someone else can't keep up with your future, just because someone else can't keep up with your vision, you need to stay focused on that vision. Don't allow them to hold you back, because if you allow them to hold you back, then both ships are sinking. Both ships are basically crashing, and it doesn't make sense for both parties to crash. You got to stay focused. You got to stay true to who you are. You got to stay true to your vision. You got to stay whole within yourself too. They might think of you cool for that. They might say things like, but baby, look at how much work we've done together. Baby, look at how far we've come together. Look at how much work we've done. Look at all of these things. But you're giving up on me. You're giving up on me. You're not pushing forward to do better with me. You're not pushing forward to keep growing with me. You're giving up. And if you give up on me, if you give up on the relationship, if you give up on yourself, on the vision that we are building, then I got to let you go. And I got to keep growing and keep going where I need to go. Because that's the truth. That's the raw truth, that sometimes it's hard to let someone go. It really is. Especially when it's someone that you love, especially when it's someone that you hold dear to your heart. It's hard to let that being go. But sometimes you got to let them go. Sometimes you really do. Because it's also what's best for you in that moment, in that time. And I say to you, oftentimes when it is that you let them go, it doesn't mean that you don't love them anymore and anything, but you actually love them still, but not enough to cause detriment, cause harm to your group. Once it is detrimental to you in that way, you got to let them go. Because the truth is, when it is that you hold on to someone and try to drag them along with you, this is where it becomes a drain. This is where it becomes a strain. This is where you now become very stressed out. This is where you now become very hurt in that process, because now you're dragging someone along who's not holding their own weight, who's not bearing any part of the load. They've just left all of it on you. This is where, no, you got to also put down your foot in that way to say to yourself, they got to stand up. They got to work with me. They got to do something with me. Aside from just leaning on me for everything. They got to do something. And that's the tough, raw, hardcore truth there too. So, there's a lot of angles to look at this, especially when it comes to a relationship. There's a lot of different angles. Sometimes you really and truly just need to do what it is you need to do, and not just wish, but know that, hey, the best is yet to come. Know that, guess what, somewhere down the line, based on if you really know that individual, hey, they will get back up and they will, choose that road. You don't have to force them. You don't have to tell them anything of that sort, that, hey, you need to get up. And no, they'll know, because they'll see the stress and strain that it has, the toll that it has taken on you. So they'll want the best for you, and they'll want to be there to help and support you. They will want to be there for you too. They will want to help you grow that vision. They will want to make that vision flourish and bloom. They won't just give up and then just leave everything on you. No, they won't do that. So this is how you also know when someone also is for you. When it is that they're not just leaning on you and just banking on you for everything, and thinking that you are perfect, or thinking that you can do everything or you should do everything. No, they will also try to do for you because of the generosity, the genuine love that they have for you. They will do for you, and they will give to you freely, because that's what you have been given to them. Giving them that freedom of love, just giving to them because you love them. So they'll give that back to you. They will also be fueling you in that way too, not just taking from you, not just draining your energy. Call them energy vampires. Some people are like that. Some people are like, they can sound very sweet, sound very, very, can say a lot of beautiful things to you, but when it comes to really and truly holding down that fort with you, when it comes to really grounding and being there with you, not much people can really own up to that. Not much people can really stand firm in that. Like, it's easy to talk about a relationship, but to be in one, it's completely different. This is where, yet again, this is why I've chosen to be single, because I'm telling you this, a lot of people out there are not ready for the levels that I'm ready to go, the deepness that I'm ready to go, the deepness that I'm willing to go. A lot of people are not ready for that. So this is why I say to you, learn to embrace, being alone at times. I know it's very difficult for you to say. It's very difficult to, acknowledge. But sometimes you need to acknowledge and accept that, hey, this is the phase also that you would need to go through to further deepen that connection to you. This is the phase also that you need to be in to really and truly attract someone who's really meant for you. Being patient, being alone just requires a lot of patience, because guess what? The right one will find their way to you, because sometimes you may be in a relationship with someone who's not the right one for you, but continuously holding on to that being in that way because you think they are the right one for you, but the way you feel in the relationship is completely different, completely off. So are kind of like confused. But the truth is, there's nothing much to be confused about, because you know that it's not helping you, it's not making you feel good, you know that, but still choose to hold on because you love them. Still choose to hold on because they are the one that you choose. And that being said, my friend, you can choose someone, you can give love, but that doesn't mean that you will get love in return. You can always give love, but love cannot be taken. It can be given, but it cannot be taken. And this is where, as you are giving that love and they are taking that love and appreciating it, then you can continue giving it. But if you are giving that love and they're just taking that love and trampling all over it, not appreciating it, not doing anything to reciprocate it, then that, my friend, is not love. That being doesn't love you, and the connection that you had there was built on satisfying their ego and pleasing them. So that's a raw, hardcore truth that many of us don't take the time to realize, because when you're in a relationship in that depth, when you are actually in that situation in that depth, sometimes your vision gets clouded by the experiences. Sometimes your visions get clouded. So I say to you, don't just run off of the past version of that being, of what they once was, maybe in the earlies, but go off of what they show you in the present moment. Go off of who they are now and not who they were, because people change. People's minds change. It's like you hold a remote control and you can just flip the channel at any time. That's how easy it is for someone to change their minds. Like, holding a focus is not an easy thing. So this is where view someone for who they are in the present moment, because really and truly who they were doesn't matter. All that matters is who they are consistently every single day moving on in the relationship. That's the truth of how you build a real connection. You don't just Yes, the memories and the good times that you all have had is good times and good memories, but what are the memories, what are the moments that you are encountering with them now? Because this is the major factor of where the future, will be headed. This is what determines your future, what goes on now in the relationship, not what was going on once before, the good times that you all were having before. No, what are the times that you guys are having now? Because this is what will determine the future of the relationship. What are the type of connections? Are there still communication taking place? Is there still that trust feeling there? Is there still that feeling of love there? Genuine authenticity there too? Is it still there or is it not there? And this is where, both parties need to understand, hey, you can either choose to rekindle and respark that and keep going like a lightning bolt in that direction of growing together. But if it is that you want to respark and rekindle that fire in that beautiful way and they're like, nah, they can't do it or stuff like that, then wasting your time, energy and effort being there, because that present moment they are telling you that they're not willing to respark that flame with you. They're not willing to, ignite that flame again and learn a new version of what it is that you guys can embark on now. A new version of what it is you guys can turn into now. They're telling you that no. Or let's say it can be also a form of growth also, where the vision may have changed. The vision now has changed into something even bigger, and you have a higher vantage point, a higher view of what it is you once had, for the future, and they choose to hold on to the limiting version of the future. Then no flexibility, no growth, no movement, no ambition. So it's like holding you back. They're holding you back. This is where you need to know, hey, guess what? Don't want to be with anyone that's holding me back. You have to be with someone that's growing with you, willing to grow with you, so that you guys can continuously keep evolving and transforming together. These are some of the things to look out for. These are some of the things that can be an indication to you. Should I stay? Should I go? You'll know. You'll know. All based on the present moment of who that being is. All based on the present moment of the interactions that you guys are having now. All based on their present actions. And also, this being said, yes, sometimes people get down. Sometimes people need a shoulder to lean on. Sometimes people need that support. Sometimes they really do need that extra push, and you can be that for them too. But not if it's becoming a burden to you. Like 1 month is good, 2 months maybe, 3 months maybe, but a 4th month, come on, how long will they stay down? How long will they stay in that, mindset? How long will they stay there, dragging as you drag them along with you? Know how much to give, because if you give too much, people will expect that type of energy from you too. People will expect you now to be that, that crutch all the time too, especially in a relationship, because you just keep being there to bear the burden all the time for them and being there to bear the load, but they're still down and they're not choosing to get up. They're not choosing to come back up. They're not choosing to get on that horse again and ride that horse. They're not choosing to get on that bull again and ride that bull. They're just choosing to lie down. Come on. This is where you need to say to yourself, okay, enough is enough. You've poured enough. Because it's like I said, yes, sometimes people need support. Sometimes, especially being in this world, it's a lot of mental work. It's a lot of mental strain. It's a lot of things to deal with. But at the end of it all, there's only so much you can give. There's only so much you can do. Sometimes you feel obligated to doing things or being there for someone that you love too. because of your love for them. But I like to say to you, no, you're not obligated to. You are not obligated to. You can only do the best of what it is that you can do. But not to become a human battery, not to become a toy, not to become someone that it's just being played with, taken for a fool. Not to become a pushover or walkover, not to become, just that that remote control that can be controlled based on whatever it is that that person wants you to be and turns you into. No. See, because sometimes in relationships, people play that feel sorry for me card. People play that card of, hey, feel sorry for me because you love me and stuff like that. But the truth is, they are using you. The truth is, they are manipulating you. That's the truth. Because someone who goes into a slope and gets assistance or gets that support at that time that they would have needed at that point of time, they're not going to stay there and then bank on you to continuously keep fueling them and giving them energy. No. They will put in actions and put in work, give themselves, the go ahead to do things. They will motivate themselves too. They won't bank on you for everything. No, they won't do that. So I say to you, how to know? Should I stay or should I go? How to know? Because the truth is, sometimes also we stay in relationships like that, we be around people like that, and then after things happen in the relationship in a negative way, we leave the relationship and then become victims of that relationship. We say, boy, I've given so much in that relationship, I've done so much of this, so much of that, so much of this, so much of that in the relationship. Like, look at what I've done for them, and they're so ungrateful. They like, I should not have done that. They just take and took from me. Hey, that's also victim mentality, because the truth is, if you really did it out of the kindness of your heart, then what it is that you have given, it won't really affect you, because you gave it from pure love. You gave it from the true love that you had for that being, and not from that place of giving because you felt obligated to give. You give because of genuine love. You gave because it was what it is that you chose to give at that time, because of the way you felt for that being, aside from giving. And then because things didn't work out well in the relationship, you want to take back, or you want to do this, or I should not have done that. Now I have regrets for what it is that I have done in the relationship, because it's like you find like you did too much. No. So now this creates a victim mentality within your mind to say to yourself, hey, you've been victimized, you've been abused, you've been this, you've been that. But when you do things out of the kindness of your heart, you won't feel like a victim. You won't feel like you've been used or abused, because you did it out of the genuine kindness. You did it out of the love that you had for that being, out of the kindness of your heart. So there is no regrets. There is no part of you that wants to take back what it is that you have already given. There is no part of you that is watching what it is you have already given. There is no part of you that is looking at those things. No, because the truth is, you understand that, hey, you gave that out of love. You gave that out of pure bliss, pure truth, pure, pureness, pure intentions. So now you can move on with your life also moving forward. Like, okay, you don't feel like a victim. You don't feel hurt. You don't feel bad. You don't feel anyhow, because you gave it. You gave it out of the kindness of your heart. But there are people that give in relationships because they only give because they think they have to give. They only give because they know if they give, they may receive something in return. They're expecting something in return. But when you give without expectations, this is where you really and truly understand what it is to give. This is where you really and truly understand what it is to love. Like, for example, let's use that analogy of a dog again. When you give your dog food, your dog is not going to give you back any food. No, you're just giving that dog food because you are genuinely giving that dog your food. You're giving that dog, your love. You're being kind and empathetic to that dog because you are giving to that animal for free, not expecting anything in return. So this is where that dog can up and leave and run away. But because you have given that dog for free, you don't feel hurt, you don't feel bad. That's the truth. This is why, when it is that you're also giving to beings and human beings or people, given that same way, given with that same mentality, because really and truly, if you give it an expectation of giving to control them, thinking that you own them because of what it is you give to them, then it's not a relationship. It's a relationship that is also being built on a material transaction. It's a relationship that is being built on, yet again, what it is that you can give to them or what it is that they can give to you. So this is why, in this message also, I've been emphasizing on the point of love is unconditional, no conditions. Love is free. Love is limitless. Love is something that cannot be bound, cannot be bordered, cannot be, subjective. Love is instant, continuous change. Love is something that is continuously expanding, continuously growing. Love is infinite. Love, that is what love is. It's an infinite source. It's an infinite supply. Love has no conditions. Love is not, I love you today because you made me happy today, and I don't love you tomorrow because I'm angry at you. No. Love is, I love you for you as you love me for me too. That's love. That's unconditional love. Unconditional. No conditions. No boundaries. You can just let your guard down. You can just flow fluently, freely, and just be. That's love. That's what love is. That's the truth behind love. So this is how should I stay or should I go? Should I be alone? I don't want to be alone. No one wants to be alone. But in this world, sometimes you got to protect your energies for the right ones to come to you. Sometimes you got to protect your energy for the being that you really and truly want to attract in your life to be attracted. And this also helps you to embody what it is that you want. This also helps you to really and truly nurture yourself into being the truth of what it is you wish to receive, so that whatever it is that you want in someone else, that you are that too. Because some people are kind of like biased. Some people are unfair in a way where they would want someone to be a certain way, but they are not that way. So this is where I say this now, be who it is that you want that other being to be. Give what it is that you want that other being to give. So this is where that you are not just expecting them or wanting them to be that way, but that you are that way. And hence, if someone is not reciprocating what it is that you have embodied, what it is that you are, then guess what? This is an indication to you that it's not a match for you. This is an indication to you that it's not aligned for you. This is an indication to you that you should let them go. Because sometimes the goodness, the love, the beauty that you are, the embodiment of what it is that you are, the way that you carry about yourself, the way that you deal with people, the way that you are there for people, and they don't give that back in return, it can take a toll on you. It can make you feel a type of way. So this is where I also say this, don't expect people to be like you because of the goodness that you are. Don't expect people to be as good as you. Don't expect people to be as loving as you. Don't expect people to be as free as you, because not everybody is you. And that's the truth. There are people out there though that are like you. There are people out there that is a reflection of you. And you need to be the one to know who those reflections of you is. You need to be the one to understand that, because at the end of it all, it's all you. When it is you're able to take accountability within yourself and know that, hey, this is me. Okay, this is who I am. This is the truth of who I am. This is how I am, and this is what I am viewing in my reality. This is what it is I am creating in my reality. So I would know what the reflections of myself is, and what the reflections of if someone is not in alignment to me is. All based on embodying who you are, trusting within you, within who you are, knowing who you are. Now you know what it is that you're looking for outside of you. So all of this being said, these are some of the indications to know, should I stay or should I go? What is the reflection? What is the reflection that you are seeing in that being? If you are seeing that being as a reflection of you, then good, they're good for you. But if you're seeing that being as something that's not good for you, then they're not good for you, because they're not reflecting, they're not giving you back what it is that you have been given. And I'll close that off here. I hope you guys enjoyed this message. I hope this message has helped you guys in some way, form, or fashion today. Hey, peace, love, and harmony to you guys. Still going every day. I'm out. Until tomorrow. One love.